Okay, so once again, I'm going to give my overall thoughts on these three episodes, and then we're going to go into a deep spoiler section with breakpoints in between. Okay? Okay, so far, I guess I'd have to give episodes 7 through 9 of Andor a B. This is definitely an improvement. Things are actually starting to happen now. It definitely feels like the stakes are getting ratcheted up. There are interesting points happening. Unfortunately, the main drawback continues to be the fact that Cassian Andor is the least interesting part of a show about Cassian Andor. And the most interesting part just happens to be all the bureaucracy that keeps mucking up the Empire. Again, Imperial paper pushing is far more interesting than the guy who's supposed to be who's trying to start a rebellion, basically, for lack of a better term. And that is, at least it's not as bad. They seem to have realized this and try to add a little bit of life to the character a little bit. Just little pieces here and there, which I'll get into in the spoiler section. But there's definitely some more enjoyable parts with Andor. But again, overall, I just find myself wanting to skip the Andor parts and just deal with Imperial minutia. So, yeah, again, that's kind of why I'm giving it a B.
Star Wars Power of the Force Collection. Darth Vader leads an evil empire towards universal domination. Join a brave rebellion with Luke Skywalker, Han Solo and Chewbacca, and Jedi Obi-Wan Kenobi. Can you stop the Empire? Star Wars Power of the Force Collection from Now, the universe has changed forever. The Star Wars Power of the Force Collection. When Darth Vader and his stormtroopers attack, join Princess Leia, Luke Skywalker, and Han Solo. Escape in the mighty Millennium Falcon. Experience the real movie sounds of light speed. When Darth Vader's TIE fighters are on your tail, hear the force of the Falcon's turbo lasers. Can you blast Vader's TIE fighters to pieces? Never underestimate the power of the Force. The Star Wars Power of the Force Collection, each sold separately from Kenner.
Out of Star Wars and into your hand. It's an exclusive Kenner action figure. Han Solo disguised as a stormtrooper. Free with 2 proofs from Kellogg's Fruit Loop cereal. May the Force be with you.
Okay, again, this is the big spoiler section. Also, there's probably going to be a few cuts in between here because I might have to look things up. Trying to remember 3 weeks worth of episodes is kind of hard to do sometimes, even with your notes. Anyway, skip to this point if you want to miss the spoilers. Okay, anyway, spoiler section is on now. Yeah, basically these episodes deal with sort of the fallout from the big heist. We have, Cyril, who's, the not Imperial, he's the corporate security guard who's lost his job, and now he has to take this job with, like, a data entry company that his uncle gets him. Just as the news about this heist in Aldani breaks out. And, you kind of see everything starting to hit the fan as this happens. You have Mothma going to Luthen saying, hey, what the hell are you doing? And he's like, look, you stand around and you talk about your rebellion. At some point, you actually have to do something. And, also, we need money to fund this. We can't just always go to the banks, As, that winds up happening over the next few episodes as well, as Mon Mothma does try to go to the banks and try to ferret some money around from certain places. However, in the wake of all of this, basically the Empire is like, okay, no more private companies anymore. They're all being dissolved. They're all being absorbed into the Empire. We're going to keep track of it, so that way we can keep better tabs on this. We're expanding citywide surveillance. We're racial profiling. What else are we doing? Because we're stripping even way more freedoms, and even Deirdre Miro knows, like, that's just going to cheese people off. That's not going to help you at all. But of course, they pay no mind to that because she's a woman, I guess. Though eventually she starts asserting herself and putting herself in and pointing out the failings of all her male co-workers, which gets her promoted enough to get taken over this investigation into this heist, and also who has been stealing Imperial parts on selling them on the black market. And so that kind of dovetails into episode 8, which I'll get to that when I get to there, in episode 9. So as, this is all happening again, so I think Yeah, like I said, I think we've kind of started to explain everything there. Luthen is, again, he's realized he's playing with fire now because he's, yeah, by staging this heist, they have crossed the line a little bit, and now it's like, we really can't go back, even though I feel we had to do what we needed to do. And that starts to come back to bite him a little bit too as we get into those next episodes. But I guess the big thing here is actually kind of what happens to Cassian Andor. He goes back to Ferrex. He finds that, Bix's boyfriend or whoever he was killed. She got taken hostage and interrogated, and she's mostly off right now, but now there's an Imperial force occupying Ferrex. And as that is also happening, he visits his mother, who's basically like, hey, look, I got money to get us out of here. We can just go live our lives. We don't have to worry about the Empire anymore. And she's like, no, I don't want to, I can't live in the Empire anymore. I can't live this life anymore. I'm joining the rebellion. Which is weird given what happens in the next a couple episodes. But, okay, she's joining the rebellion. So he basically books it to this resort planet where, like I said, he books it to this resort planet, whose name I did not quite get, but yeah, he's on like this resort planet where he commits a minor violation and gets arrested. Like, he's literally there a day. He hooks up with someone, he has breakfast, he goes out for a walk, and he walks into like a restricted area. He gets arrested, and that's how the episode ends, is he's arrested, sentenced to 6 years, and, sent off somewhere. Which leads us into the next episode, which is Narkenia 5. And, like I said, basically it's Narkenia 5 is where he's sentenced. It's a forced labor prison facility where they're manufacturing what looks like engines for, I'm guessing, TIE fighters. I may be wrong on that. Basically it's forced labor. You work these gigantic 18-hour shifts with very little breaks. And, you stop, they switch out, they do a day shift, they do a night shift. But yeah, you're supposed to work there until you paid your debt to society. And it's here he meets Andy Serkis' character of Kino Loy, who's sort of the manager of all of this. But, and basically it's kind of a fun place because, well, not so fun, but it's very unique in the sense that it's like, all of these platforms are like out in the middle of these giant oceans, so there's not really a place to escape to. But even if you wanted to, you couldn't, because the floors are electrified. All of the Imperial guards have rubber boots that they can walk around in, so they're fine. But all the prisoners are barefoot, so if they do anything out of line, they immediately everyone gets shocked. So, yeah, basically you're kind of screwed. In fact, at one point, a guy who's so sick of this just willingly exits his cell and takes his own life by electrocuting himself, basically. And again, as this is also happening, we go back to Ferrex, where Marva Andor has taken ill. She apparently went on some sort of spy mission, and she fell bad, and she got gassed with something. And as this is happening, Mira arrives because she has finally talked to Cyril, who admitted, I signed this report without even being allowed to read it. I'm just trying to do everything I can to clear my name. I'm sick of it. It's like, I agree that the Empire should have absorbed it because maybe they could fix up where my corporations were failing, basically. This corporation I worked for, was so stuck up its own, that nothing, you couldn't get anything done, and everything was covered up. And, I know the guy you're looking for is this Cassian Andor guy, because he did this and this and this. And, he ran off with someone. I didn't get their face, but I could recognize their voice if I heard it. And that's enough to get him, basically, he can't get his job back entirely, but he gets promoted where he works, and his name is cleared, so he at least gets that, which has an unfortunate leading as that goes on, but that's a little different. We'll get to that when we get there. And anyway, as this is happening, it turns out that Vartha, Sid Vartha and Kaz, who both were part of the thieving group that Andor was with on that heist planet. God, I can't remember the names of this place. I'm sorry. That's okay. Anyway, yeah, they are also kind of scoping out Andor the Ferrix, because they're thinking that Andor is going to show up. They're trying to locate him. Bix wants, because, he should get back to be with his mother in case something bad happens. And she starts trying to contact Luthen, but Luthen is basically told, like, no, you need to lay low right now because we're dangerously close to being out in the open. And so he has to kind of lay low. Like I said, he can't really respond to her. She keeps contacting, which alerts the ISB, the Empire, for lack of a better term. And that's what brings Mira to Ferrix to interrogate Bix, which is how that episode basically ends. And, the last little bit is Luthen then goes to talk with, of all people, Saul Guerrera, because he's like, look, we need to, we have the same end goal. We just have different means to take there, but if we work together, maybe we could actually reach something close to this, and then we can, figure out how to divvy it up afterwards. And he's like, is not entirely open to the idea just yet. If you don't remember, Saw Gerrera is Forrest Whitaker's character from Rogue One, the anarchist who goes a little too extreme, so that he doesn't really like to run with the Rebel Alliance too much. But he's interested in hitting this Imperial power station, and not Vartha. Luthen can basically supply parts to achieve that, but it's implied in the next episode that they've been sold out. And that leads us into the next episode, actually, which is Nobody's Listening. Again, Bix is taken into custody. She is tortured. Eventually she has to give up what she knows about Andor, but they still don't know anything about where he's located. He's still under Kina 5, where the cracks are literally showing in the facility as basically the prisoners have slowly, a wing of the prisoners discovered that you're not actually working for your freedom. You work to a point where you're supposed to be freed, and then you're just kind of conveniently moved over to another spot where you're not supposed to be recognized. Unfortunately, there was a clerical error, and someone actually got returned to their old post, and that sparked a riot, which has started to, come unglued. Added to that, one of the people Andor has been working with, Ulaf, suffers a massive stroke and is euthanized. And the doctor basically says, look, like I said, you're not working for your freedom. You're here till you die. There's nothing, and because of this, the group has slowly been plotting an escape, and now it seems that Kino Loy is on board with that as well. So I'm guessing that's what's going to be in the next episode there. And I guess we'll get back to Cyril and Deidre for a moment, because he goes back to her because he wants to thank her, but she's kind of like, he's kind of stalking her, but not in the way you would think. It's not in a romantic way. It's because he still wants to get his revenge on Andor, and she's like, no, look, your name got cleared, go live your life, we thank you for what you've done, but your story ends here. His story is obviously not going to end there. And as this is all happening, like I said, Mon Mothma has been trying to get funds from the bank, but unfortunately, because of everything that's happened, there's now surveillance everywhere. The bank is coming up for an Imperial audit, and they're going to know this $400,000, dollars in this case, credits are missing. And, which means they have to look up a guy named Nova Scudlin, who's like a loan shark, to basically cover everything so they can at least keep things quiet now, and he'll have to fund the rebellion if he's up for it, but she doesn't really want to associate with him because he's a loan shark. And, well, that's pretty much it. Like I said, it seems we're going to dovetail back to being more focused on Cassian Andor here. You remember when this was supposed to be about him trying to find his sister? You'll see, like I said, overall, very good points in all of this. Very interesting ideas brought up. It's a good story. The problem is it's a Star Wars story, and I think people want more pulpy, action-adventure stuff in Star Wars, not deep political intrigue. And again, Andor continues to be the least interesting thing in Andor. The constant Imperial paper pushing, everything, trying to cover up the family, the political families. All of that stuff is just vastly more interesting than Andor himself, and it's not like, again, we're getting little bits and pieces of rebellion attacks. We've just gotten one-ish, and I guess we're going to get one more before this thing ends. But, yeah, again, if you're looking for, Star Wars Rebels, you're not going to get that. You're going to have to probably just watch the Star Wars Rebels animated series. So, yeah, that's kind of where the disappointment is in this. Like, there's some good ideas, it's not quite following through in the execution. It's not fun, and even in a good way. Even in the way that you could do that and still have it be fun, if I'm making any sense there.
Nobody does Star Wars like the power of the Force from Canada, the only universe with deluxe crowd-controlled stormtroopers with thruster pack and capture claw. Han Solo geared up with smuggler flight pack, and Luke Skywalker with big battle-action desert skiff. And only Kenner brings you the full force and big detail of the Rebel snowspeeder with blazing laser lights. And big movie sounds. Now you're playing with the power. Star Wars, Power of the Force. Figures come with vehicles. Snowspeeder sold separately. Batteries not included. From Kenner.
Okay, so the next video is going to be the random trade review on Dark Hawk Classic Volume 1. After that, it's going to be another Madden Predictions, then a theatrical review of Black Panther Wakanda Forever. If you saw my last video, I kind of spoke a little bit about what's going to be coming up in the next few months, I guess. Theatrically, Black Panther, I just said that. Strange World, I guess I'll do Avatar. There's one other one I was going to do. I'll be doing the Santa Clauses for Disney Plus coming up here. I believe Willow is also coming up, is it not, or is that in March? Oh, I can't remember anything anymore, I'm sorry. January is going to be the big catch-up month. That's where I'm going to be doing some of the streaming shows I missed because I've just been so busy. See you all next time.
Hey guys, remember you can request a movie or a television series for me to review at my Patreon at patreon.com/CPTime for Cat Productions. Also, remember to like the video, comment, share, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so that you can be alerted to further videos.